Hi everyone, welcome in this another video in this video tutorial series. In this video, we will create a real-time chat application using PocketBase and DroidScript. Okay, so this video will serve as a guide and a starting point for you if you are creating applications in DroidScript that listens to a real-time event such as streaming and live sensors. Here I have connected in my Wi-Fi IDE and I have opened the PocketBase native application that we have set up in our previous videos. I highly recommend you watch that previous videos so that you can go along with the topic that we have discussed, and maybe we will use that topics in this tutorial. Here at the top, I have loaded the PocketBase JavaScript SDK, and here inside the onStart function, I initialize my PocketBase database passing this URL of my cloud database. Okay, so what we are going to do in this tutorial is we will create two types of application. The application here in the DroidScript and application in the browser. So I will create a website later to simulate real-time messaging into application. And we will open those applications side by side so we can see the rendering of real-time messages from one app to another. First, I will create the DroidScript application side in this tutorial. I will just define my variable. So I will define the call equals messages. I will create a messages collection in our PocketBase database, and I will store that messages collection name into this call variable. And I will also add here name or the author of the message. Here in DroidScript, I will just say DroidScript to tell us that this message come from this user DroidScript application. In the real world applications, you may use user field relations into your messages collection to display the names of or the author of the messages. So here I will just hard code the name for this messages that comes from this DroidScript application, and then below here I will create the layout for our DroidScript application. So I will just paste the layout that I have created. So here I have the layout of our DroidScript application. First, I created this main layout, and inside that layout we have two layouts. We have the laytop and this lay input. The laytop is where our messages will be rendered, and inside that layout we have the text that says messages. And in our lay input we have two controls, the input text edit control and the send button control. If we run this application, this is the actual layout. So here we have this input field and also this send button right here. Okay, so what I will going to do now is I will create a send message function that will be called when the send button is clicked. So here in the send button, we'll say send button dot set on touch send message. Okay, so when the send button is clicked, we will call the send message function. So here at the bottom, I'll just define this send message function as synced function send message. Okay, so here I will implement the adding of a message record into our messages collection. But before that, I will go to our database in this cloud extension. Click this cloud extension and go to this database tabs. And here we will create our messages collection. So just click this new collection button. Here, the name of this collection is messages. Okay, we will add two fields here. The first field will be plain text, the name or the author of the message, and the second field is the actual message, which is a plain text also, or the message. And click this API rules tab, and for now we'll just unlock everything and leave this rules empty and grant access to everyone. Create. Okay, so now we have created our messages collection. Going back into our application. Okay, so here I will prepare the data to be added into our messages collection. So var data equals the name that we have set up here at the top, DroidScript, so that we can see where that message came from. And the message is input that get text. So any value of this input right here, or input text edit. Okay, so since this is an asynchronous function, I can try using await. Okay, try and a catch block. If there's an error, I will just console.log that error. Okay, so I will say await pb.collection, passing that call or messages collection that create, and if that creation is successful, I will just set the text to an empty string. So input that set text empty string. Okay, we cleared the value of our input field. To implement the subscription of real-time events, here below this app.add layout, we will subscribe to real-time events in our messages collection. So going back in our cloud database here, click this messages collection and click this API reviews. I will just drag my camera here, Click this API review and navigate to real-time. So real-time section. And in this real-time section, we'll subscribe to real-time changes via service sent events. And events are sent for create, update, and delete. So these are the actions that we want to subscribe to. Create, update, and delete. Okay, so here in this code, select JavaScript, and we want to listen to actions on the entire messages collection. Okay, so we will choose this one right here. We will pass this wildcard asterisk. So we'll just copy this one. Okay, but before that, if you want to subscribe to a single record in our messages collection, you can pass the record ID as stated in this code right here. But for now, we will just use this code because we will going to subscribe to events or to actions to the entire messages collection. So going back into our code, here, just below the app.add layout, I will just paste the code. Okay, so I'll just remove this comments, and for now, I will just remove these options. We want to receive all the fields from that record in the messages collection. Okay, so these messages I will just pass call because we store that messages collection string into this call variable and subscribe wildcard asterisk, and instead of this function I will just use arrow function. So event. Okay, so now depending on the event that action, so if we go to our cloud dashboard, click again into this API review. Here in this real time, we can see here at the bottom event data format, the response. So we have the object, and we have two properties in that object. So we have the action, which will be the values of this action will be create, update, or delete, and also the record in that messages collection that is affected in this action. Going back into our code, okay, let's check for the event.action. So if the event.action equal to create, okay, so we will display the message in our layout here. So we will display the message in that layout. Okay, so we'll just call return create message passing the event. So later we will define this create message function here at the bottom. Okay, so I'll just copy this one and paste this for both update and delete. So delete. Okay, if update, we'll call update message function. And if delete, we will just call also a delete message function. So here at the bottom, I will define these three functions. So we have function create message. It will receive an event. Okay, I will just copy this one and paste here. So we have also update message, and we have delete message. Okay, so here in the create message, we will create a layout, and in that layout, we will add two text controls for the name and for the actual message text, and we will then add that layout into this layout. So we'll create the message lay. So const message lay equals app.add layout. We will add this layout into layout, and then linear, okay, left. Okay, so aligned left, and we will say message lay that set size. The size of this will be 0.9 width, and message lay that set margins. Okay, I will just add margin in the bottom 0.03. Okay, so that we can add gap between the messages. Okay, so below that I will also define the name text or the author of the message. So app.add text, and this text control will be added to that message lay. The name of that author will be event.record.name. I'll just change this name text that set size to a bit larger, so I will say 18. And below that, I will also display the actual text message. So message txt equals app.add text. We'll add this text control into the message lay also. And the actual text message will be event.record.message. Okay, to have a reference to these controls, message lay, name text, and message text, we will add them into the messages object. So here at the top, I will define the messages object. Let messages equals an object. And here, I will just copy this one, and inside this create message, I'll just say messages event.record.id will be an object for message lay, name text, and message text. Okay, just like that, so that we can reference this message lay, name text, and message text here in our update message and in our delete message functions. So to update a message, we'll just get the reference for this message text. So how to do that? Okay, const message text equals messages event.record.id dot message text. Okay, just like that one. We know for sure that it will return this message text. To update the message, we can call set text, okay, event dot record dot message, which will be the updated message. Okay, so to delete the message, we will completely destroy that message lay or this layout from our laytop layout. So here in our delete message, we will get a reference for this message lay. So how to do that? Okay, the same as this update message, we'll say message lay equals messages event.record.id.message lay, just like that one. And then we will call laytop.destroyChild message lay. What's cool in this DroidScript version 3 text editor is that it has an advanced IntelliSense and auto completions for most of the DroidScript scopes and configurations. Also for UI and all JavaScript objects and methods. Okay, so let's try to run this one to see if there are errors in our code. Okay, I will just open the debug tab to see if we have errors. Okay, run this application. Okay, we don't have errors, so therefore we have no syntax errors in our code. When our application first loaded, I will display the first 5 messages from our messages collection. So I will say pb.collection, passing the call or messages collection, and then get list, page 1, number of items will be 5, and then okay, since this is an asynchronous function, I can listen to that then and that catch callback. So that then will return a records and that catch, and I'll just display this error for now. To display these messages in these records, I will just iterate records.items. For each record, we will call create message, passing an object of record. Okay, just like that one, we can know for sure that it will render those 5 messages, first 5 messages, into our messages layout. So let's try to run again. Okay, we have no errors. We are done now with our with our DroidScript application. Let's go to the browser side. Here I have already coded the website version of our DroidScript application. So here I have index.html, and first at the top I have reference. I have loaded the styles.css. So in our styles.css, it's just basic styling, so nothing fancy about it. Below this CSS, we have loaded this PocketBase JavaScript SDK from CDN, and inside the body, we have 2 div containers. So the first one is this container for messages. Okay, this is where we render our messages just like the laytop in our DroidScript application. Inside that, we display our heading h3 messages. Below that, we have the container for input or our lay input in our DroidScript application. Here in our script, first, we have defined our variables URL. So this is the cloud database URL, and we then initialize our PocketBase database, passing the URL and store that instance of PocketBase into this PB variable. And we also define the call a variable that points to the messages collection in our PocketBase database, and the name for the messages that comes from this application will be browser. Okay, so that we can know which message comes from which application. Here in this codes, we reference to the elements in the DOM. The first one, message container, we reference to this messages container. And the send button, we reference in this send button right here to send messages when clicked. And also this input, a reference to this input element inside this input container. And below that, we have the same functions that we have from our DroidScript application, the create message, update message, and delete message. And here, just below that, we implemented this code right here to subscribe to our messages collection. So this code is copied and pasted in our browser. So this is the exact code from our DroidScript to subscribe to all events in our messages collection. Okay, so if the action is create, we will call this create a function, which is defined here at the top. We also have this update. We will call this update message function, and the same with this delete message. And we also pass the event to these functions. In this create message, in DroidScript, we create a layout, and here in our create message in browser, we create a div element. And in that div element, we add the name text and the message text. The name text is here in this h4 tag, and the actual text message is here in this paragraph element. And then we set the inner HTML of this div element into this HTML string, and then append this div element into our message container. So we append that message into our div container. And note that we set the ID of this div element, or l.id equals to event.record.id, so that we can reference to this paragraph and also this div element here below in our update and delete message. So in the update message, we'll just going to change the text content of this paragraph element. So here, we reference to that paragraph element by calling document.querySelector. We select this div element and then reference to this first direct p tag element. We will know for sure that it will return this paragraph element, and then we call p the text content, passing the new message from our event.record.message, the updated message. And then in the delete message, we will just destroy or remove this div element from our message container. So we reference to this div element by calling document.querySelector, passing the ID of this div element, and then we will just call l.remove to remove that element from the DOM. Here below this subscription code, we have this pb.collection.getList. So this is the same as the code that we have here. Okay, so the purpose of this one is to load the first 5 records from our messages collection. Just below that, we have this send message function. So this function is just the same as the send message function here in our DroidScript. Okay, so we just copy this one and pasted this in our browser application. And then we attach click event listener to our send button. If that button is clicked, we will call this send message function. And we have initialized our data and then try to add that record in our messages collection. And if that creation is successful, we set the input.value to an empty string. Okay, so I will just run this one. Just right click and open with live server to run this in the browser. Okay, I will also run this application in DroidScript. Okay, let's try to send messages between these two applications. So here in the browser, we'll say hi. Okay, so you see here in our DroidScript applications, we have rendered the hi message from the browser. Okay, so we will reply here, hello, send. Okay, so you see here in our browser, we also rendered the message from our DroidScript application. We will just send a few messages. We have successfully listened to the create action in our messages collection. Okay, so now we will try to update the message from our record in our messages collection. So going back into our cloud extension, refresh this messages collection. Okay, so now you can see our messages. Okay, I'll just update the text for this third message. How are you? How are you? Wanna go out this Friday? And click save changes. Okay, so we see here in our DroidScript application that the third message has been updated. So we have no error in referencing this text control. And going back in our browser, we also updated the third message from our messages. So both the create and update actions are working fine. Okay, now let's try to delete this last message from our database to see if this fourth message will be deleted in the browser and also in our DroidScript application. So going back in our messages collection, okay, this I'm fine. I'll just select this one and delete this record. Okay, you see in our DroidScript application that it deletes the fourth message from our messages, and in our browser, we also delete that fourth message. So guys, we have successfully listened to the events from our PocketBase database collection. We have listened to actions such as create, update, and delete. I can't wait to see the applications that you create with this real-time event subscription capability of PocketBase in your DroidScript applications. Okay guys, that's all in this video. I hope you find this video helpful. Stay tuned in for more upcoming videos in this video tutorial series for Premium Plus services. Thank you guys and see you in the next one.